UnitedHealthcare was never a healthcare company. It was always a financial instrument wearing a stethoscope. A hedge fund, perhaps, with a denial department. A rent-seeking middleman that grew very fat on taxpayer dollars and lawmaker commissions while squeezing patients and physicians. And that model hit the wall. UnitedHealthcare was $599 just 5 weeks ago. Now, I wrote that in May of 2025. Today, it closed at $321.58. Now, look, this wasn't a correction. It was a controlled demolition. Year to date, UnitedHealthcare is down 36.3%. In the past 10 years, it's only up $200 or so from a starting position of $111. From peak to current, it's down nearly 50% from the 52-week high of $630.73. Now, Wall Street called it a market reaction, but anyone paying attention knows the truth. This was an absolute reckoning. I'm going to break it down for you. For years, UnitedHealthcare grew its Medicare Advantage book by dangling shiny objects. This is what they've always done to generate market share. Things like zero premiums, no deductibles, broker bonuses, big broker bonuses, gym memberships, eyeglasses, dental coverage, anything to get people on. All were designed to capture market share. And for 20 years, they grew and grew, from covering a handful of seniors to dominating the market. 10 million members as of February 2025, the most significant Medicare Advantage player in the United States. Then, in 2025, they flipped the script. They doubled the out-of-pocket max, they introduced new deductibles, they cut benefits, they raised premiums, and they exited entire counties. The strategy? Bleed the unprofitable seniors, increase margins. Wall Street will love it. Now, they assumed that seniors wouldn't notice, or they wouldn't leave. I mean, it's not a bad assumption, but turns out they were wrong. Then Brian Thompson, the CEO of UnitedHealthcare's insurance division, was murdered. You probably remember. It was December 2024, Midtown Manhattan. Brazen assassination. The reaction wasn't horror. It was very complicated. Public sentiment revealed something Wall Street didn't want to see. It was a deep, visceral resentment towards the industry. Stories of denied claims, bankrupting families, medical debt, prior auth nightmares. The murder captured international attention and surfaced a truth the C-suite had been insulating itself from. That's what C-suite people do. And people hate insurance companies. There was no press frenzy defending UnitedHealthcare. Nobody on CNBC was going, this is a great company. There was no analysts rallying around going, this is amazing. All I heard was quiet. Now the boardroom lights flickered. Then came the op-ed. That dummy CEO Andrew Whitty wrote a New York Times piece defending the company, calling the healthcare system flawed, but essentially defending the status quo. The public called him tone deaf, out of touch, corporatist, moron. The damage was done. While public relations burned, the fundamentals began to crumble. Now look, May 13th, 2025 was a big day. Some people call it the double whammy. In a single day, UnitedHealthcare delivered two devastating blows. Number one, the CEO, Andrew Whitty, abruptly resigned for unspecified personal reasons. Now, the company suspended its entire 2025 financial outlook. The stock plummeted 18% in one day, the worst single drop since 1998. Why suspend guidance? Care activity continued to accelerate. Translation for us normal people, medical costs for new MA Advantage members were way higher than we anticipated or expected. Now, here's the punchline. They were surprised that sick seniors needed care. UnitedHealthcare bet the house that seniors would choose to die quietly rather than ask for help. That didn't pan out for them. Turns out when you advertise comprehensive benefits, people might take you up on it, especially if they're, sick. The bait and switch broke the entire business model. Even Stephen Helmsley returned as the CEO, the 72-year-old former chief executive. Wow, 2006 to 2017, he oversaw the mergers that built the empire. And he was brought back to stop the bleeding. His message? We expect to return to growth in 2026. Translation, 2025 is a complete disaster and a write-off. Now, at the same time, federal regulators ramped up their investigations. In July of 2025, UnitedHealthcare confirmed the DOJ investigation. After months of denials, the company finally admitted what Wall Street and everybody in the entire world suspected. Both criminal and civil Department of Justice investigations into Medicare billing practices. That's bad. The focus of their investigations were Medicare Advantage fraud. The allegations, inflating diagnoses to trigger higher Medicare payments, pressuring physicians to submit claims for conditions that boost reimbursement. I wonder what that pressure looked like. Risk adjustment manipulation. In other words, overcoding patient severity to maximize federal payments. The Medicare Advantage business generated $139 billion in revenue last year. That isn't a side hustle. This is the core business. The agencies that are circling UnitedHealthcare include the Department of Justice for both a criminal investigation and a civil investigation. The Centers for Medicare and Medicaid, don't worry, they won't do anything. The Internal Revenue Service, Securities and Exchange Commission, another dud that won't do anything, and the Department of Labor. Well, they like to go after little people, but they're not going to go after UnitedHealthcare. Now, UnitedHealthcare put up a full response. We stand by the integrity of our Medicare Advantage program. Jesus, these PR people. Now, the stock then dropped another 3%. While fighting investigations, the company faced another large problem. Its senior staff were leaving. I mean, why stay when the money's all gone? In October 2025, that's just a month ago, UnitedHealthcare announced it expected Medicare Advantage enrollment to decline. Are you ready for this? By 1 million people in 2026. Let me repeat that. The nation's largest MA insurer is projecting it will lose 1 million members. Now, that wasn't from plan terminations alone. This was 600,000 people deliberately exiting plans, 400,000 from seniors switching to competitors due to UHC's higher prices and reduced benefits. Crazy. Now, Tim Noel, the new CEO of UnitedHealthcare Insurance, one guy was murdered. He took his place. He said plainly, plan for 2025 and 2026 reflects a conservative path focused on margin growth. I mean, you can just hear it, right? Blue shirt and tie. Translation, look, man, we're not trying to grow anymore. We're just trying to survive and make sure the stock doesn't go to zero. UnitedHealthcare isn't shedding 1 million members because of some grand strategic pivot or because they finally care about grandma. They're doing it because grandma got really angry. You can only cancel so many colonoscopies and replace them with silver sneakers before people notice the fine print. Apparently, brokers don't notice. Now look, this isn't shrinking strategically. It's retreating behind a flaming wall of boomer rage and actuarial math that no longer works. So let's talk a few numbers, all right? If you're a UHC equity holder, your market cap destruction, $288 billion was wiped out. FICAP Fund invests with clinical precision. We are the new venture capital for healthcare. At FICAP Fund, we invest in entrepreneurs rethinking care delivery. We invest early in technology that simplifies physician workflows, enhances patient care, and drives operational excellence. Our network of experienced physicians, healthcare professionals, and executives validate innovations in real-world clinical settings. Physicians Capital Fund, investing in healthcare simplified. To invest, email info@ficap.com. At its peak in 2024, UHC was worth $580 billion, and today, $291 billion. Still a lot. Hope it goes down to zero. We're down 36% year to date. We're down 46% over the past year, and it's down 50% from its 52-week high. Now, look, it's trading at $321 as of November 11th, and institutional investors are fleeing. In Q2 2025, you had global research, including global investors, sold $4.7 billion worth of the stock. This includes Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan Chase, and a ton of hedge funds. I mean, when someone's selling billions of dollars of your stock, you're in trouble. But that's okay, because one man walked into the fire. His name is Warren Buffett. He and Bill Gates, as you know, are besties. Because Bill is such a great guy. He knows everything about healthcare. So Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway bought in, and they scooped up $1.6 billion worth of the stock, like he was shopping the clearance rack at Sears in 1997. Maybe he sees deep value, or perhaps his staff just forgot what year it was. Either way, while most investors were running for the exits with their hair on fire, Uncle Warren and his business was pushing a shopping cart through the rubble, whistling a folksy tune about buying when there's blood in the streets. It also helps that he owns a big frickin' reinsurance company. Anyways, this time, the blood is mostly Medicare funded. Now, B of A analysts downgraded UnitedHealth from buy to neutral, warning that it could take years to recover. There was another analyst that said it was a perfect storm. The company that once seemed invincible is now a cautionary tale. It's amazing what happens when you don't do the right thing. The facts are, UnitedHealthcare was never a healthcare company. It was always a financial instrument wearing a stethoscope. A hedge fund, perhaps, with a denial department. A rent-seeking middleman that grew very fat on taxpayer dollars and lawmaker commissions while squeezing patients and physicians. And that model hit the wall. OptumRx is now a liability, not a moat. The pharmacy benefit manager, who was supposed to be the secret weapon, is now also under investigation for rebate schemes and formulary manipulation. Medicare Advantage is collapsing from within, even though they paid AARP $9 billion. I mean, what a disaster. Enrollment growth has slowed to 3% in 2025, one of the slowest rates ever. Insurers across the board are retrenching. Even in the CMS projects industry, enrollment could decline for the first time in 2 decades. The integrated model is unraveling. Finally, thank you. For years, UnitedHealthcare's pitch was simple. We own insurance, we own the pharmacy, we own the clinics, we own the data. We own Change Healthcare that doesn't pay. We have vertical integration and we create efficiency and better care. But all of that was a joke, because in reality, it created conflicts of interest, opacity, and a machine designed to maximize revenue extraction at every single trust point. Look, when the machine broke, there was no escape hatch. Meanwhile, independent physicians have known this playbook for years. Get big, deny claims, control access, kill price transparency, lobby the Congress and your state legislators with money, and of course, they'll eliminate competition for you. Here's the shift I'm seeing. Patients and even some smaller payers like employers, the real ones, are waking up too. Seniors aren't just switching plans to UnitedHealthcare. They're actually asking questions. And employers, surprisingly, aren't just accepting renewal increases. They're exploring alternatives. Doctors aren't just accepting denials anymore. They're building direct models with real payers. Now, look, this isn't just about one stock. It's about the unraveling of a model built on opacity and policy manipulation. From $599 in April of 25 to $321 in November of 2025. That's a 46% collapse. $288 billion in market value completely destroyed. The CEO of United Health Insurance was murdered. The CEO of UnitedHealthcare Group resigned. The veteran, Darth Vader himself, was brought back from retirement. You got criminal investigations, civil investigations, enrollment exodus, institutional investor flight. All while the company insists that everything is just fine. But the charts don't lie. The exodus doesn't lie. And the investigations Well, we're going to see what they say. I think the empire is cracking. Just remember, this isn't the bottom. This is the starting line for many of you. If you're a physician, unplug yourself from all this nastiness. Form federations for payer contracts. Go direct with employers. Find the patients. Get direct care. Get loud. Get on social media. If you're a patient, opt out. Stop feeding the machine. Demand clarity, not coupons. Choose care, not coverage. And if you're an employer, please stop writing checks to the villain. You're funding your own employees' suffering and calling it benefits. This is not a blip. It's a blueprint for collapse or for revolution. UnitedHealthcare is done. The empire is cracking. Rojas out. Physicians must lead, period. Who's in charge of healthcare? Not physicians, and that's the problem. Physician-led healthcare for America, PHA, is fighting to put control back where it belongs, with the people who actually deliver care, independent physicians, surgical centers, and real competition. Not bureaucrats, not health systems. If you believe in physician autonomy and genuine patient-first care, it's time to step up. Join the movement at physiciansled.com because healthcare needs leaders, not followers.